What is up, hackers? Welcome back to another episode of Hack Crypto, where we hack all of our Web3 education. If you guys are brand new here, slap a like on this video, be subscribed with notifications on if you're into everything that is Web3. Now, in this episode, I'm going to be going over what leverage is on the different top exchanges. This is going to be a high-level video for the beginners out there. And ironically, in the middle of bear markets, now is when you want to create exchange accounts. Michael over at Box Mining had mentioned this before, and I thought it was a great point. I've talked to a bunch of different people about this over the years, and bear markets are the optimal time to discover new exchanges. They're the time to open up new exchanges because the incentives are high. Every exchange out there is competing for your attention. Yes, you. They want you to come on, create accounts, they're willing to pay you for referrals, they're willing to pay you to trade, huge rewards for all the different types of trading that are on there, and they just want you on the exchange. They make money through their transaction volume on fees, and the best way to do it is during a bear market, because when the swing starts to move upward in the bull market, which is coming again, just like every cycle, you're not just caught off guard and you have an exchange account ready to do your trading if you're an experienced trader. Now, a lot of the things I'm going to be talking about in this video are around leverage. It is extremely, extremely dangerous, extremely volatile. I do not recommend trading high leverage trades unless you are an experienced trader. So do your own research. This is not financial advice, and be sure to check the links in the description. When we go through Kraken, Bitmex, Famex, and Binance, there's a lot of different points of leverage and the amount of trading pairs. That's really how this space works, is when you're comparing these two together. Of course, you have to take into account fees, but you have to look at how much leverage you can get, as well as how many different options you have. And I think that these are really great ways of differentiating which exchanges you want to be associated with. And of course, the brand. Like, you want to know that they've been around for a long time and that they're not going anywhere. Now, before I get into these four, this video is sponsored by BYDFi. It is a partner of the channel. I've been a big fan of them. They've been trading since 2020. It used to be Bityard, which is actually a very well-known brand in the space. So if it is familiar to you, that brand, they have a really cool interface. It's a really slick and easy thing to use, and they are supporting a ton of creators in the middle of a bear market. So I support anything that is supporting creators, and I like their model. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with a couple of these different exchanges, talk about their leverage, some of the upside, some of the downside. As always, the links will be in the description below as I go through each of these one by one, so you guys can check them out, do your research, and definitely sign up for BYDFi so you can get a gauge for all the different awesome meme tokens on there and the 200x leverage that you can get access to. Now, I've mentioned it before, but there is a very quick KYC process during the bear markets because everybody's trying to get you on their exchange during bear markets so that when the bull market turns, you are ready to go. So KYC is extremely fast. To start off, we're going to talk about Kraken. Kraken's been around in the US for a very, very long time. They've been recently in the news around some issues with the SEC. There's lawsuits going around, and there's a lot of drama there in the US. Now, there are some restrictions to Kraken, like in the United States, in New York and Washington State, you cannot use it. You're just restricted from using it. And that is around staking services and their derivatives trading services. So you're limited to spot markets on Kraken. The amount of pairs, Kraken has 90 different trading pairs. And for context, there are 20 trading pairs on Famex, which is a high leverage exchange. And a lot of businesses that I know have Kraken accounts. I created a Kraken account about a year ago or so, and then after the news came out that they were in trouble, I just stopped using it and terminated it. And we got through that whole process. And a lot of what happened with FTX was businesses had created accounts there. They were just opening business accounts left and right at FTX. And it was just this crazy, crazy place where people were all going, leaving treasuries for businesses. And when that collapse happened, it was nuts. So Kraken actually opened up the door to a lot of those businesses. And when FTX happened, a lot of people ran over to Kraken from FTX to open up their business accounts so they could accept crypto for their services, their products and services as a business. So really, it is an interesting exchange. It's been around for a long time. It has a strong brand in the space. I believe it's Jesse is the CEO's name. They've done a great job over the years, but ultimately it is very restrictive for US people. Now, the next one is going to be Binance. Binance is no stranger to anyone watching this. Even if you're not in the space and you're a beginner, you've heard that name. It is just synonymous with crypto at this stage. And CZ has become this sort of rock star of the space all over the world. And like him or hate him, he has done incredible things, moving billions of dollars into the space. And he's just a beast when it comes to finance. So it is up for debate what's going on with him and the SEC and Binance and the SEC. They've filed a ton of charges against Binance internationally. They're kind of all over the place. It's hard to tell where things are with Binance, with hundreds of different entities. And of course, they have their proof of funds that they do, but ultimately they've capped to 20x leverage. So for people that are super into the 100, 200x futures contract leverage, that is not going to be your place that you're going to want to go. Now, that is Binance US. Ultimately, they are the giant in the space, and it's still up for debate. A lot of people have mixed feelings about Binance. It's so interesting how many people dislike it, how many people like it, how many people are just like completely confused by the SEC, which is the bucket that I fall into, or I don't know what is going on with it. I don't know what the status is with it, so I just stay away from it, is basically what my experience has taught me over the last 10 years being in crypto. So the next one after the 20x leverage that Binance US does is going to be Famex, Phemex. Now this one is around 20x or 20 trading pairs, so not that much optionality for the different tokens that you can use and trade, but they do offer 100x leverage. Now we're going to get to it later, but BYDFi has 150 pairs. Just to put that into context, when you're dealing with Famex with about 20 pairs and you're dealing with Kraken with 90 pairs, 150 for BYDFi, which is a pretty incredible jump and difference there. Next up, we have Bitmex. Now, this one really rose to fame because Arthur Hayes, the CEO, was sort of this like shoot from the hip Wall Street guy that was like kind of taunting regulators on Twitter and was just always tweeting about the craziest stuff, and brilliant human being. I followed him for many years. And when Bitmex first came out, they were the first ones to ever do 100x leverage. And I remember the controversy that happened around that, where it was just huge wicks up and down. Back in 2017, 2018, people were just getting so angry at these random phantom wicks that would happen. And it was just a crazy time for Bitmex. Now, as far as I understand it, they had 45 trading pairs. Now they have perpetual contracts. They have USD and Bitcoin perpetual contracts that you can do at 100x leverage, which is an intense amount of leverage. We are talking about BYDFi that has the 200x, which is on another level. But for this one, you have your margin and you have these types of contracts that you can trade. Briefly went over Kraken with 50x leverage. We went over Binance US, which is about 20x leverage. We went over Famex briefly. There was 100x leverage, and then Bitmex, there was 100x leverage. In walks BYDFi. The coolest part about this is the meme tokens. I've been a big fan of the meme revolution that's going on when you had GameStop and everything going on, and people were just trying to short squeeze all the hedge funds on Wall Street. Similarly, in crypto, this happened with meme tokens like Pepe and a lot of these different Shiba tokens and everything. So the coolest part about this is that they have the 200x leverage on these different pairs, 150 pairs. So more leverage than all the previous ones that I mentioned, and then more trading pairs than all the previous ones that I mentioned. So both of those metrics, they've sort of blown out of the water there. And I think that it's really important to notice that all of these are settled in USDT, so Tether. And then there is a liquidity depth that's similar to Binance. And this is a really key factor here, where when you're looking at the exchanges on chain and you're checking who has liquidity and how you can withdraw or deposit, you need to make that decision based on the liquidity that's there. And I think that there's something that a lot of people will like here, which is that you you can withdraw up to a half a Bitcoin. And at the time of recording this, it's about 15K. And that's without doing KYC. Now, I'm not promoting people to go out there and not do KYC and move money around. But ultimately, when you do KYC with them, you can withdraw 10 Bitcoin a day. And for some of the whales that are out there that are watching this, that's a lot. So 10 Bitcoin a day, that's 300K at the time of recording this. And it's really cool to see that they are trying to accommodate both pools, both parties, people that are just so DeFi and anti-KYC, and then the people that are very much focused on just trading, and they'll KYC at all the different exchanges that they need to. So I like that they have that. And I think that, with the 50x leverage with Kraken versus the 200x at BYDFi, you have quite a lot of people that are interested in a little bit more of that crazy upside and leverage there. Now, as a non-trader like me, everything I do is going to be around mimicking people that are professionals if I'm ever going to do it. And this is around, following all the different metrics that they use. So the ROI, the win rate, the P&L, and the followers gained are the 4 key metrics that people follow on BYDFi. I think it's cool how they've developed kind of a social graph where you can follow people, you can copy their trades, mimic it, and see what they're doing and very transparently right there. So I know who's up 300, 400%. I know who's down 300, 400%. And I can mimic the people that are doing these things. So to sum up here, BYDFi has the 200x leverage. You have 150 different derivative pairs. And of course, light contracts wasn't something that I touched on there, but it is the ability to trade at other things other than crypto, which is very cool that they've incorporated that all into one. And last, but most certainly not least, it is available to people in the US. You're not restricted. You can go in there, you can play around with it, and you can learn more about it. It is a huge win that people in the US can use this exchange. Not only is it available to people in the US and the UK and Canada and Australia, but you can get access to the promotions. I've talked about these before on the channel, and as a partner of the channel, those are always going to be what I like to discuss because they're thousands of dollars basically for free that you can go on there and get as you trade and as you get integrated onto there. I hope this overview of these different exchanges helps. During a bear market, it's good to do your research, learn about the different options out there. At the end of the day, do your own research and find an exchange that works for you. Get ready for the next bull run and be prepared. Ultimately, this, I believe, is one of the best exchanges, and it's going to be the forefront. The fact that BYDFi just listed on CoinMarketCap, and it is starting to climb the ranks with huge liquidity similar to Binance, is such a statement. I think it's going to be one of the front runners in the next bull market over the next 2 years. That is it for this episode. Slap a like if you like this type of video. And if you are trading right now, leave a comment below, and I will see you guys here on the next episode of Hack Crypto.